So Andrew Burke and I have been out here probably for about 2-3 hours now. As soon as the sun went down, we had great fishing, mainly using minnow plugs, SP minnows, bombers, mambo minnows. But as the night wore on, we were getting less. We were still getting bumped, but the fish weren't hitting it quite as hard. So a lot of times when that happens, it means they might be looking for something a little more natural, maybe something a little smaller out on these sand beaches. So I put on this is a little Eddystone eel. It's basically just a small teaser, just like a red gill. A lot of times when a bite shuts off like that and they're only bumping the plugs or not hitting them anymore, it doesn't mean the fish move, it just means they're not as interested in hitting the plugs. Maybe they're really dialed in on smaller baits, and that's a great time to put on a teaser. This here's an Eddystone sand eel. It's a lot like a red gill. It's not quite soft plastic. It's a little bit more heavy duty than that, but has the kicking tail, looks just like a sand eel. And I keep these in my bag. I don't always fish a teaser. There's kind of a trade-off when you fish a teaser. It's a great match the hatch bait. It is gonna catch fish of all sizes, even very big fish, but it does severely cut down your casting distance, especially on a night like tonight. We've got an onshore wind here, and I'm probably losing 10, 15 yards of casting just by having a teaser on there. But if the fish are close and they're very picky, it's well worth it. When I'm adding a teaser, to do it quickly, I just have it attached to a small little clip. This is a 50-pound clip attached to 30-pound test fluorocarbon leader, and I have a few of these rigged in my bag just like that. I used to just tie them on to my swivel and then tie them off, but that takes time, especially in the dark. You've got to use your light. With just a small clip like that, on and off very easily. For the length of the fluorocarbon leader, I'm using 6 to 8 inches, no more than 10. And that's because I don't want it to be too long that it's wrapping the leader or tangling with the plug. If your leader's too short, you're gonna be more likely to miss fish. So I just take this, I pulled it out of my plug bag. I pre-rigged it before I headed out tonight. Have that small, this is a Tactical Angler's 50-pound clip. I'm gonna put that on the bottom rung of my barrel swivel, and it's gonna be just fine. It's not gonna tangle with me real bad. It's gonna spin with that bottom rung of the leader, so it shouldn't twist around my leader too much. It's a beautiful night. There's no one else on the beach here. Got the moon just rose above the clouds, and pretty much any size fish is a good fish on a night like tonight. So I'm definitely losing casting distance. Oh, man. But it doesn't matter. Well, the fish have been pretty close to the beach, and that was maybe 2 cranks. Now, we'll have to see if this was on the plug or the teaser. Yep. So right there, healthy schoolie fish right on that teaser. I mean, that took no time at all. Very easy to get that hook out. Oop. Let's get him right back in the water. Nice single hook as opposed to the trebles on the plugs. I know there's some bigger fish than this out there, and maybe that teaser is going to be the ticket to catching them. He had to give me a little bath before he left. That could not have taken less time. That could not have been more immediate. So for teasers, one of my favorites are those kind of soft plastic, rubberized type teasers, the red gills or the Eddystone sand eels. Those are classics. They've been catching big fish on Cape Cod for 30, 40 years at this point. But you can also use just a couple saddle hackles tied to a hook. Some guys use surgical tubing. It's another fish, he's on the teaser too. They always give you a hard time on the sand. They'd love to throw a little sand in your eyes just to get you back. But if you're fishing around sand eels, these teasers I definitely think are top notch. The Eddystones or the red gills. They do cut down on casting distance a little more than a smaller bucktail or saddle hackle feather type teaser, but they can be well worth it on a night, at night when the fish are close to the beach. During the day, I'd go with the teaser that's going to cast a little bit farther. So when it comes to which plug to throw with the teaser, This is the minnow plug I was throwing. I'm gonna actually switch over to a needlefish just because that's a little bit longer casting plug than a minnow plug. And because the teaser is cutting down on my casting distance, I'm less worried about using a plug that the fish are gonna hit than I am in having a plug that's gonna help me get a little bit further out there. Let's see. Go with it. It's a great needlefish. This is a Long Island Fish in Vermont needlefish. And could very well, it's caught plenty of good fish for me, but right now I'm looking for it to cast far enough to get my teaser out there in front of the fish. Yeah, that's going much further than the minnow plug and teaser combination was going. So same retrieve I would do if I was just fishing the needlefish, just a slow, steady retrieve, maybe a little pop now and then. Yeah, so after each cast, does not hurt to just check, make sure your teaser's not too hung up. Now, especially when I'm fishing teasers, I like to throw a little bit up current and just go very slowly, let that kind of just go with the sweep along the beach. You know, that little tail on those Eddystone sand eels or the red gills, it's gonna kick with just the slightest bit of movement, so you don't have to move them very fast at all. The fish were like, we gave you 2. There we go. But even with the teaser on there, they'll still go for the plug. A little bit chunkier one, that's probably a slot-sized fish, maybe. He's definitely feeding well out there. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a belly full of sand eels. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more great videos coming up on surf and boat fishing for striped bass and for anything else that swims in the Northeast.